Weekly Live, here with you on a Wednesday, a Thanksgiving Eve Wednesday. Of course, part of Betting Weekly Studios, Bet Rivers Network. Great to have everybody with us here today. Mike Carver along with Doug Kezirian. And what a full night we have. You're going to get full with turkey tomorrow. Tonight, you're going to get full with tons of college basketball, 15 NHL games, tons of NBA Cup games. We've got NFL the next 2 days. A very, very busy sports weekend, sports holiday weekend that starts tonight. Doug, it's great to see you as always.
You too, my man. And like you said, obviously huge sports slate today and the rest every day of this whole entire week. And a lot of people have conventional work schedules, take the week off, things like that. Oh no, we're full speed ahead, and all hands on deck, so to speak.
All hands on deck for us. Now, we won't be here tomorrow. We'll say that now. No Betting Weekly Live tomorrow on Thanksgiving Day, but we will be here on Friday. And that is usual time, 4 o'clock East, 1 o'clock Pacific. We'll be on in the middle of that Eagle-Bear game. All the crazy college football going on. Georgia Tech will be on while we're on, and we'll get you ready for that night's action and all of the weekend plays as well. But we got a lot to do, so let's get rolling here, Doug, for us. And we'll start with NFL on Thanksgiving, a great triple header tomorrow to go along with the holiday. Really one of the best Thanksgiving triple headers I can recall in recent memory, at least. And it all starts, of course, with the traditional early game in Detroit, Packers and the Lions, to get things going. Right now at Bet Rivers, the Lions, of course, minus 2.5 with a 48.5 total.
Yeah, I echo your sentiment in terms of being a great slate. I don't like either of these teams.
Mm.
I'm okay on this Detroit a couple times. I've certainly criticized Green Bay this season, specifically Jordan Love, but I kind of lean to the Packers here. I feel like Jared Goff. I think we're seeing the real version of him. I've been very critical of him when he was with the Rams and just felt off. Now, if there's ever a time to back Goff, it's at home. And this short number, where we did see what the Lions did to them week one, but I think it's just a strange situation. The Packers defense has sort of baffled Goff in recent years. I honestly, Gibbs is the one player that can swing everything in this matchup. With that being said, I don't want to take the Lions. I think something's a little off. I think the Packers are going to be fresher. Now, favorites typically do really well, especially straight up on Thanksgiving. Short week, even early game, obviously travel and everything. But the Packers really didn't, expend a lot of energy last week. The Lions did. So I like Green Bay here.
I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I don't really know how much I like either of these two teams. And I'm still kind of smarting a little bit because I backed the Lions so hard against the Giants last Sunday that it's like it's only been 3 days. I'm really down on Detroit after how they played against the Giants, especially defensively. But I feel like, Doug, you might be getting them here. And we always got to be leery with 2 and under 3, between 1 and 3 on these home teams being favored. It always is kind of a trap door that you can fall into. I kind of lean to the Lions, but I think I like the total more than anything else. And that also might just be me going off of how bad the Lion defense played on Sunday, that maybe I'm expecting some points to happen here.
I would bet under. We've touched on it with some of these games when there's huge totals like this. All you need is a drive to stall at midfield, and then things happen. Last week with the Sunday Night Football, Rams and Bucks was flying over the total. The adjusted total was like 62, late first half at halftime, things like that, and the game total was 50. But then there were two sort of drives stalling at midfield and that downed inside the 3, like 2 punts, and then that changes everything. So, just gotta be careful with these big numbers, but you're right, it's always seemingly a track meet with Detroit.
It certainly does. As far as props go for this game, obviously, some of the touchdown numbers are pretty juiced, especially guys like Gibbs. Obviously, you're going to pay pretty premium numbers for them. I do kind of like Christian Watson, and I like to get involved with touchdowns. I think a lot of it, too, is watching how the Giants and Wan'Dale Robinson kind of hit some big plays against Detroit on Sunday, Christian Watson is usually the big play guy for the Packers. Now, he might only catch one or two balls, but one of them might be a 55-yard touchdown. So, plus 185 for Christian Watson in a game that has a total around 50. Pretty good price for me for who could be the main pass catcher. And he's got a bunch of touchdowns in the past couple of weeks, Doug. So, since he's gotten healthy, Love's been going to him a lot.
Makes sense. Again, 48 and a half the total. So you're looking at like what, 6 touchdowns and 2 field goals, something like that, 3 apiece. Packers could easily win the game, so maybe 4. So I'm with you there. It's certainly logical.
It certainly is. So, that is game one of our triple header on Thanksgiving Day. Game number two, we go to Dallas, where the Chiefs and the Cowboys, who both had enormous wins to pump up their seasons last Sunday. The Chiefs, of course, with the comeback against Indianapolis to get themselves to 6-5. The Cowboys down 21, coming back to beat the Eagles to get to 5-1. Now the Chiefs come rolling in -3 at Bet Rivers on the road. Another big total. It's big total Thanksgiving here in the NFL. 52.
Yeah, there's such positive momentum with the Cowboys, right? The comeback after being down 21-0, and the Chiefs didn't look great, right? They had the goal-to-goal situation, fumbled, then had another one. End of the game, could have covered the 3.5 and win by 4 in regulation. Oh no, we had to sweat it out and get there in OT. I thought the defense showed up. I'm on the under here. I think this Chiefs team still not fully clicking. They did finally win a one-score game, but defense has been their strength, and Mahomes, it's like the old joke. I'm going to duck here. Mahomes isn't throwing the deep ball as accurately as he has in years past, which is totally fair. You're throwing on the run, you're across your body. He's the guy who made it look easy for so many years. But to be honest, like that 4th and long that he converted to Rice was behind him. Some of these deep throw, like he hasn't been the true Patrick Mahomes. And I don't think that changes. Yes, there's a fast track in Dallas on Thanksgiving, but I think 52 is a little high for a Chiefs game. And I think this Cowboys defense with the run stuffers of Quinn and Williams and whatnot, playing a little better. Playing a little better. They obviously forced turnovers in Philly. I think the right play here is the under. Should be it's going to be a field goal game in my eyes.
That's kind of what I was going to ask you here, Doug, because 52 makes it feel like Cowboy games that we saw through the first 2 months of the season, right? Like it feels like those Cowboy games where they had that run of every first half was over and it was nonstop back and forth. You look at them the last couple of games since they stuck Williams in the middle, and they've gotten healthy in a couple of other places, and suddenly they're getting a few stops. So I agree with you. I think we're catching maybe a bit of an inflated number. We're still thinking Cowboys from early in the year. This is a better defensive unit. And what else are we getting now? These games are, the money's starting to get on the table here. We're getting into crunch time. And that sometimes, Doug, can tend to some lower scoring games too, especially when you have two teams that both need it so bad.
Yeah, and I just think this Chiefs team is just not the same offensively, and they love their defense, and rightfully so. Spags is legit, and they're sharp on D, and this Cowboys team will run, things like that. So I don't know, man. I just feel like it's a little too high of a total here. It's not my favorite play or anything like that, but for Thursday's slate, it is my favorite play.
In terms of a side, I know there were some 3.5s the last couple days, and I think that maybe there I could have probably leaned on Dallas. I don't think I can do it on a flat three though. I'm not sure I can go to the Cowboys in that spot.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Look, Dallas was still down 21-0,
Yeah,
and they put a lot into that game. It was a good spot to bet on them. I don't know if the spot necessarily favors Dallas here. I am interested in the Chiefs at 3, but they let me down last week. Honestly, the Colts had a 4th and 5 in positive territory. If they go for that, which they should have,
yep.
because I was a Chiefs backer and wanted the punt. That's your answer. Therefore, they should have gone for it. I just don't think they have the knockout punch. I'm gonna have to see more from the Chiefs other than sort of they played well in the second half, didn't get any penalties in the first half, which surprised me. But didn't get any penalty calls, I should say, their way. They actually had the penalties on them. I'm not saying it's a trap game. I just think it's gonna land 3.
It's tough. It's right. It's the right number. It's right where it should be for a game like this. So that's game number 2 of the Thanksgiving triple header, and then the nightcap: Bengals and the Ravens in Baltimore. Ravens -7, another 50 to 51 and a half for this game. And of course, Joe Burrow, and it is now official just within like the last hour or so from the Bengals. He's off IR. He's starting the game. Burrow is back. Not going to have T. Higgins. He's going to get Chase back from the suspension as well. Lamar's been banged up, always on the injury report. Hasn't quite looked like himself the last couple of weeks. Ravens -7, Doug.
Joe Burrow, right? The problem is it's still the Bengals defense. If he played D, that they were getting a key guy back on D, that'd be one thing. The problem is they give up so many points, but Baltimore is not super sharp. I lean to the dog here. I just don't know what I'm getting with Burrow. Obviously, it's giant unknown. Over seems interesting, I should say. I I think I got to lean dog and probably lean over here.
I lean dog. I lean over as well. And I really like Mark Andrews in the game. The Bengals, we know they're the worst defense, not just this year. Aren't they the worst defense in like the last 15 years in terms of all their statistics and their DVOA and
That would make sense.
all these other things? They have been torched by tight ends this year. I mean, even we could just go back to Sunday. Hunter Henry's still running around against them in that New England game. So I'm going to go to Andrews and what I feel like is kind of a light number at 38 and a half. And maybe likely gets involved too because he's finally fully healthy. I'm going to Andrews and what I think is a pretty low number, Doug, at 38 and a half for him.
The one guy I have, if Higgins is out, I mean, Jamar Chase should have like 15 targets, right? I mean, I
Right.
know the number's pretty high at 89 and a half, but how does he not just have a field day? We're talking Joe Burrow here. I mean, if all these other quarterbacks are finding him, isn't Burrow going to find him left and right? Now, Flacco did easily because he didn't know the offense and things like that. Is Burrow more likely to spread it out? I guess maybe that would be the one concern I have for taking Chase over, but Chase 89 and a half feels like
Well,
he can get that in a few
well,
catches.
especially if you consider, and this is what he did against them last year: 2 games against the Ravens. One game, he had 11 catches for 264 yards and 3 touchdowns. And the other game, he had 10 catches for 193 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had 5 touchdowns and over 400 yards and 21 catches in the 2 games against Baltimore last year. He likes playing the Ravens, Doug. Like he
Yeah,
likes
but is he going to get more attention with Higgins out and things like that?
Right. You have to obviously consider those things. And those were both, remember too, those were crazy games last year, the Raven Bengal game. They were both wild games, back and forth. But maybe you get that again with this 51 and a half that we're going to have on Thursday night. So the Thanksgiving Day triple header. We got to have a little fun though, Doug. How about a turkey teaser and a pilgrim parlay? You give me the turkey teaser, I'll give you the pilgrim parlay.
Well, I mentioned the Packers at 2.5. It's hard not to like teasing them up to 8.5. Now, there's obviously a scenario where the Lions roll because they are now, what is it, 13-1 ATS.
Mm.
Sorry, but they're still not playing great. So teasing them to the Ravens, I don't think the Bengals can win here. But Baltimore's running on fumes, 5 straight wins. Like there's a little bit of a downgrade, down dip, I guess, in their energy. So that would be my one concern there. But this is a pretty logical teaser if you can find the right juice.
And for the parlay that I will give you, the Pilgrim parlay that we have, I got to have some fun. You know, it's going to be touchdowns for me. I'm going to take the 2 chalkiest touchdowns of the day, which is Gibbs for the Lions, and that's Henry for the Ravens in the nightcap. And then in the middle, Doug, I will put the guy who has been so good to me, and that is George Pickens of the Cowboys. So Gibbs, Pickens, Henry, all to get in the end zone at plus 446, a turkey day. I want the family to leave me alone. I'm just rooting for touchdowns. That's it. Why are you staring at the TV? Because I need Gibbs to score, because I need Pickens to score. Leave me alone. Plus 446 for all that, Doug. Let's go.
Leave me alone. That should be the motto for tomorrow. I love it. I love it. It's not that crazy. You get Gibbs in the early game, right? Then Pickens, obviously no stranger to the end zone the way he's been operating, and then you just need the big guy, the King Henry. So it seems logical. It seems fair.
Yeah, it works. You got to put a couple of the chalky guys in, and then you try for something a little bit further down the line. Let's have a little fun. Roll the dice with the Pilgrim Parlay on Thursday. There is a Friday game. Now, again, we will be here Friday, 4 o'clock East. But when we get here, the Bears and the Eagles will be underway in Philadelphia for the now annual Black Friday game in the NFL. Eagles minus 744.5.
Maybe a little live wager during the next show. I'm on the Bears plus the 7 here. Eagles, look, sky's not falling. You blow a 21-0 lead, it's fine. But the Bears are good. Bears have a really creative offense. They have a lot of weapons around Caleb Williams. I don't think much of the Bears defense. So maybe Philly's offense can get back on track after being completely dominated in the second half against Dallas, but they had turnovers after moving the ball. Saquon's like dead. I don't know what's going on there. So I have to take the full 7. That feels like it's too many. I would have made this number 6.
Every Bears game seems to go to the end. Like every single one is like
Right?
in the balance with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, one side or the other. And the Bears have been coming out on top on all these games that have been coming down to the end. Maybe they don't come out on top this week, but 7's a lot for them. So if this is a one-score game late, obviously we're going to want the touchdown in that aspect. I lean to the Bears with you here on Friday afternoon for the Black Friday game. So there you go. Great, great holiday slate. Now, because the games are so good Thursday and Friday, Doug, I know you've peeked ahead to Sunday, and it ain't pretty. Sunday's not pretty. When you look at the board. So enjoy the great games Thursday and Friday because you got a lot of Browns, Niners, and Jets, Falcons coming your way on Sunday afternoon, which we will discuss on Friday's show.
Dewar Sanders, the quarterback who saved the NFL Thanksgiving weekend.
On Betting Weekly Live here. Of course, if you like what you hear on our shows, as you should, sign up for our newsletter. Get exclusive tips and the free Insider magazine. Sign up for free at bettingweeklystudios.com. And make sure you also subscribe to the Betting Weekly Studios channel on YouTube, where you can catch us and all the other shows right there as well. All right, we're going to get to college football now. But I have college hoops a little later in the show today, Doug, and I want to make sure that we get this play in because when you get the text about the women's games, it's been really good to us. And I know we have one in a Duke, South Carolina game that's coming up in a little bit, which is minus 19.5 for the Gamecocks and 132.5 the total.
The bat signal was sent out on the under. Now, Kara Lawson's coach of Duke. I actually used to work with her at ESPN, one of my favorite sort of radio partners, really knows her stuff, former assistant with the Celtics as well.
Yep.
They were upset early. They're very methodical with their pace, defensive minded. I know that. South Carolina, not quite the juggernaut they've been in years past. Should be a wide open women's season, by the way. There's no real dominant. I mean, the con is number 1, but not quite like we saw with Paige Beckers and everything. So under's the play from the bat signal. I do think this could get into a rock fight out here in Vegas. Maybe I should go to it, run to the game right after our show. But a lot of these games in the men's side in the mornings have been going under. Teams, body clock. Teams aren't awake yet. I could see, slow starts, things like that. There's been some really low scoring quarters in both the men's and the women's tournament in these neutral site tournaments out here in Vegas. So I like the under. It makes sense to me. And with a spread this size, shouldn't have fouling at the end or anything.
Yeah, you should not. So we'll go under the 132.5 out in Vegas for Duke at South Carolina. That's at the Ultra. They're playing that one, of course, where the Aces are. They have that game coming up in a little bit. All right, college football now. We do have a game on Thanksgiving night and some early games on Friday that we want to get to. But first, last night, the college football playoff gets released. Really not much change other than, I guess, Oregon and Ole Miss flipping at the top part of it, Doug. Other than that, everything is pretty much status quo. This is the weekend that matters. And then, of course, championship week next week. So the teams that are there got to take care of their business, or else they're going to come sliding out. And there's lots of teams between 10 and 13 that are looking to jump in if that happens.
Yeah, it's important to remember this isn't the old days of the polls. So we can see a team win and then get passed over by a team behind them if they have a quote unquote more impressive win. Okay. We saw that with conference championships. That has a real big feather in the cap. So that's 2 weeks from now. So teams can leapfrog a team that wins by a lot. So Pitt, Miami, if you're complaining so much about, hey, we beat Notre Dame head to head. If you go smoke Pitt, you can pass Notre Dame because they re-voted. Okay. You can sway people instead of just arguing the head to head because it's not too, you still have two bad losses. Okay.
Yep.
You need to have other things and sort of other narratives that skew enough where the head to head matters more. But I think Pitt's going to beat them anyway. I think Miami's going to choke in cold weather, go up there and lay an egg. But just saying, these rankings are not set in stone. There's fluidity here. And of course, if we see some upsets, like maybe in the Iron Bowl or things along those lines, it really does open the door. So hopefully, these teams on the bubble, like BYU, um, things like
Yeah.
that, I think teams can be smart about it and really keep playing, run through the tape. Stuff might break your way.
Yeah, look, I think we know the teams that have to take care of their business this weekend. It's the Ole Misses, it's the Oklahomas, and the Alabamas. Like you say, those are the teams that have to win these rivalry games that they have, and just make sure that they keep themselves status quo in that top 10 when the next ranking goes and comes out. We haven't gotten a hit on the Heisman this week. We didn't earlier in the week, and I wanted to just now. I don't think there's been a year I can remember, Doug, where some of these guys at the top had less, like, like signature Heisman moments and things like that. Like, honestly, Fernando Mendoza, what is he? Julian saying, what have these guys done? Love has done a lot for Notre Dame, but he's a running back, so it's tough. Your thoughts as we get down here? Really, four guys, it seems like: Pavia, Love, Sayin, and Mendoza in the running here.
I mean, any other year, somebody else would be dominating, but
Right.
I do not think Julian Sand should even be considered for this.
I
He
agree.
played poorly last week without his two top receivers. They haven't played anyone. I mean, look, he was a freshman making his first start, but against Texas, he was beyond ordinary. And then he's carved up some bad teams aside from like Washington or whatever. I guess they're not bad. Sayan's not the most outstanding player in college football. That's what the verbiage of the trophy is. So come on, Love could get it. He's dynamic, but he's been great in two of their four quality opponents. He's been great against two of them, but he was pretty average in those first two games against Miami and A&M. So
Yep.
great, you carve up Purdue. Great, you carve up Syracuse. Congratulations. So just because where they are in the calendar performing, let's look at who they did against the best teams. And honestly, I think Arch Manning has been bad, so to speak. Mendoza and Sand have like the same stat lines as Arch Manning. So why are we putting such a precedent and premium on the win-loss records? It's very annoying. The guy who should be the front runner and almost running away with this is Diego Pavia. What he has done statistically with the rushing yards and everything, crushing all these guys statistically. 37 touchdowns, 7 picks. It's been awesome. And what he means to Vanderbilt and leading them to wins and doing everything that a Vandy team needs and beating quality teams. Yes, did they lose? Did he not play great against Texas? Fine. Didn't play great against Bama. Okay, he has 2 losses. That's fine. Obviously, we've seen Heisman Trophy quarterbacks with 2 losses or even 3. RG3 had 3. So did Jaden Daniels. I think Pavia, if he has a good game against Tennessee, he should win this thing. I think he should win it regardless. Does that mean you should bet on it? Those are very different conversations.
Hmm.
The narrative certainly suggests Mendoza's going to win. But let's not forget the SEC sort of push and bias, if you will. If
Right.
Pavi has a big game, I mean, he's live already, but I think he should be the favorite. Honestly, if we were in a vacuum and you just looked at all the stats and what, blah, 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 he should be the favorite. But the problem is, um, you know, that doesn't seem to be
Well,
how the world's,
no.
kind of reacting to things.
Well, that's because it's no longer the most outstanding player in college football. It's the most valuable player in college football. I feel like they've turned it into an MVP award, not what it was originally intended to be. I feel like if this was the 80s or 90s, Doug, I mean, Love would probably be the favorite by
Yeah,
Love and
love would be.
Love would be the favorite by a mile because it used to be
But he
just
wasn't good in the first
right.
2 games of the year, so he's only turned it
Very
on
true.
against bad teams.
Very true.
So really,
And Pavia.
I mean, this is Genty, but not having 2,500 yards, let's be
Right.
honest.
Very true. But it just that's what it's become now. It's become whose team is number one, who's undefeated, and who's the quarterback
Hate
of
it.
that team. And that's now what it is. All right, we have a few games over the next 2 days before we get back together. One college game on Thursday night, Thanksgiving night. Navy at Memphis. Now, there are still some scenarios that can get Navy into the American Conference Championship game. They need to win and get a little bit of help over the weekend. Memphis is minus 4.5 at the Liberty Bowl with a big total, 58.
I think I'm on Memphis here. I think it's Navy's defense leaves a lot to be desired. They give up a lot of points. And I know they had the one game where they laid a huge egg or, Horvath didn't play. I think that was the Notre Dame game.
Yeah.
Memphis has been okay. Memphis should cover this. They've had flat, though. They're off back-to-back losses. That's why I can't lay it. That's why the number's getting steamed. It feels like, the point spread's gonna come into play here. That's why I can't get behind the Tigers, but I don't wanna grab the points. I think it's a dead dog here.
Yeah, it's over for me or nothing. The over 58.
Okay.
And we get some point cuz like you said, you look at some of these scores for these Navy games, just recently, they've been playing 41-38, 49-10, 42-32, 32-31, 34-31. These are, they're giving up a lot and they're scoring a lot. And Memphis, they're no slouch either. They've got some 31-30, 38-32s, 34-31. They got some high scoring games as well. So I think it's over or nothing for me in this game. How interested will I be, Doug, considering we have obviously an NFL game going on at the same time on Thanksgiving night? Will I be awake? That's another question after a long day with the family and the food. So that also is probably going to play into it if I remember to get it in. But I could be there for the over in Navy and Memphis on Thursday night. Peak over
Yeah,
during
I like
halftime.
I like that angle because you throw out the Notre Dame game because Horvath didn't play. Who
Right.
cares, right? I don't care that they scored
No.
10 points or whatever. You're right. The Navy's in these shootouts. It's just
It's
service
wild.
academy, blah, blah, blah. I mean, things can get a little shaky when it comes to that. But if you look at all their games, anytime they faced a decent offense like Memphis, it's been a track meet.
Yep. Friday early. This is a noon East kick on Friday, the Egg Bowl between Ole
Mm.
Miss and Mississippi State. Obviously, there's major narratives here. I personally feel, and I'm sure maybe many others do, that Lane Kiffin's leaving on Saturday. He's going to LSU. I don't know why you would wait to have a press conference or have an announcement until Saturday if he wasn't staying. Wouldn't you just say a couple days ago he's staying and that's good to go? So I anticipate he's leaving. How does that factor in for you here, Doug? With Ole Miss a touchdown favorite on the road, Mississippi State's been a little bit better this year with Levy as the coach. They got a chance to make a bowl if they somehow won the game. What do you like here?
A really fascinating handicap for all the reasons you mentioned. In terms of Ole Miss, I think we're in tune of everything, but I think these players, I think maybe Lane's done a nice job of blocking out the noise, so to speak. So as long as he can concentrate on the opponent from a game plan perspective, I don't think the players are going to be sort of checked out. I mean, they have maintained their focus and they want the playoff and everything. I worry that maybe they lay an egg like Kiffin teams have done, i.e., last year against Florida as a 2 touchdown favorite and things along those lines. But this number's come down where I want to lay it with the Rebels. The only caveat is Mississippi State's off the bye. They really needed that bye to recharge. They should have a couple more wins on their schedule. They blew it against Texas. They've, to your point, played a lot better the second half of the season. At 7 or better, because this was 8.5. At 7 or better, I do like the favorite here.
Yeah, and look, and you bring up the players. I was thinking of this too. In today's day and age, they used to make a big deal about, oh, the players are going to be down because the coach is leaving. all the players leave every year now too. I mean,
Yeah.
they're all mercenaries and going for the highest dollar once the season's over. So do you think that they care whether or not Lane's
Yeah,
leaving? They're gonna
that
they're
quarterback's attached to Lane wherever he's going. So
right.
you're right.
It doesn't matter anymore. I think the kids are like, whether he's here or not, we need to win this game if we want to get in the playoff. That's pretty much what it
Right.
comes down to, whether he's there or not. Georgia and Georgia Tech also on the earlier side on Friday. This is a 3:30 East kick, so right before we come on. Georgia minus 14 and a flat 60 is the total. They played the crazy, what was it, 7 or 8 overtime game
Right.
last year in Athens. Now this is not nuts and bolts stuff for me, Doug, but I will tell you, I like Georgia for one reason and one reason only. I hate the greed of Georgia Tech not playing this game at Bobby Dodd and taking the big money to go to Mercedes and play it inside in the NFL stadium and have the place basically 60% Georgia fans in it. I don't like that greed, Doug. This is a rivalry game. They should be playing at Bobby Dodd. For that reason alone, I'm taking Georgia.
There's isn't what they call it inside the circle in that Atlanta? Like it's still Atlanta. It's not
Yes.
like a regional game like, you know, Athens and then maybe
Right.
Alabama have to play there for the SEC title game. I'd be careful with the dog here. Georgia shuts down the rush. That's not what they did last year. They shut down the run pretty well. They're susceptible to the pass. And I worry that the Ramblin' Wreck cannot take advantage of that. We know Georgia's going to start out trailing because they do that in every game. So Georgia
Yeah.
Tech's going to have a lead. So we're probably going to get a better number during the game early on the first half. I think Georgia can step on it. Right now, I'm not sure anybody's playing better than Georgia, but their defense against the pass is a little weak. I just don't think Tech can take them. Great nickname for the rivalry, maybe the best one. Clean old fashioned hate. I do like it, but I think Georgia's the play here.
Greed, Doug. Greed going to
It is greed.
Mercedes-Benz. They should be playing at Bobby Dodd in front of all their people. I know it's still Atlanta, but there's gonna be so many Bulldog fans in there. Anything else before 4 o'clock East on Friday in terms of college football? You have a few other games here. Obviously, Air Force and by the way, Colorado State takes Mora away from UConn today. Good hire for them. He's done a great job at UConn the last couple of years.
Yeah, I texted a person in the know. I'm like, "Why is he taking that job?" And he said, "Well, it's really hard as an independent at UConn." I'm like, "It's not that hard. He's winning 9 games." But why Colorado State about the other West Coast schools? About Cal? What about Stanford? I guess he just, had an
Going to the
opportunity that was in
Pac.
front
They're
of him.
going to the Pac-12, Doug. They're Colorado State's in the new Pac-12.
I guess it's beautiful out there in Colorado area. I like the under quite a bit here. Air Force
Ooh.
changed quarterbacks. Their offense has been pathetic. I'm mad I didn't hop on Air Force last week on the under. They lost 20-3. Okay. Now their defense has been playing better. Now that's why it's very important to recognize because their defense was bad earlier in the year. Colorado State's no prize. That's why I'm mad I didn't get on this under train last week. I think CSU's the side, and I think under's the play. I think under's the only one I'm playing. I can't back CSU. They're too bad.
Temple is at North Texas, of course. Super important game for the Mean Green. And they're also going to be losing their coach, although he's at least going to stick it out until he's done. He's going to Oklahoma State. 20 and a half here for North Texas. Got to win to get to the title game.
Yeah, it's a big number, and I think Temple can run all day on them. North Texas really weak against the run. I think the Owls can shorten the game. I like Eric Morris a lot. I think he's an excellent coach. I said it yesterday's show, I believe, where I thought like some of these other programs should have kept him on their radar. I think it's a fantastic hire by Oklahoma State. I just think the Owls will be able to run, and if North Texas kind of stubs their toe at midfield going for it, and they don't convert, one of those things, Temple's going to hang around here. Maybe Temple team total overs the play, but again, they're going to bleed the clock, so I'd be a little apprehensive in that regard. But I do like the Owls here, plus all those points. Obviously, 21 would be better.
There you go. Friday show, we will do all the rest of the Friday games. Obviously, Texas A&M Friday night. Indiana's playing Purdue after beating them 66 zip last year. And we'll do all of the Friday games as well for college football. All right, NBA. We're not done here. Big slate tonight. NBA Cup tonight and Friday. So these are the last 2 days of the group stage of the NBA Cup. 9 games this evening, including, Doug, how about this? A Thanksgiving Eve triple header on ESPN, starting in about 25 minutes in Boston. We got early NBA tonight, too. Pistons and Celtics. Right now at Bet Rivers, Pistons -2.5 road favorite, 232.5. Pistons, of course, have that long winning streak going, too.
12 or 13 games. I guess the NBA not too worried about tryptophan kicking in on some of these teams that have been eliminated in cup standings or group play,
Yep.
because Friday should be interesting with some teams laying an egg, but it's Pistons or pass. Celtics are, I think, 1 and 2 in group play here. Pistons have been a wagon. They are completely impressive. They're the number one seed out east. I mean, this line stinks, right? This should be
Yep.
4, but Celtics have been getting a lot of traction in the market. They've been, a stronger power rating. I don't know why. I think Missoula's been wild with his rotations. He plays Simons and then he doesn't, and it's all over the place. Boston has the right pieces, and their net ratings have been really high with Kada and a couple other new guys to the lineup and things like that. But Detroit's just so impressive. How do you bet against them? So it's Pistons or pass.
And the Pistons win, they would set up a big winner take the group match with Orlando on Friday night, as both would be 3
Wow.
and 0 in that Group B with a chance to move on into the knockout stage. The middle game of the triple header, the Timberwolves, who I'm still mad at, I know you are too, for the other night in Sacramento. They are in Oklahoma City against the Thunder. Thunder -9.5, 228.5.
Yeah, this number's come down a little bit. I don't get it. I think the T Wolves are about to be outclassed. You would think it's a bet on spot, back to back losses, but to your point, man, they choked that game away up 10 with 3 minutes to go at Sacramento. And the T Wolves haven't found their groove much of the season. And this Thunder team is overwhelming. They step on the gas like nobody's business. So I think it's a big number for the T Wolves. It's like one of those times where the T Wolves have never been this big of an underdog as long as Ant's playing. But I think in this case, it's rightful. So I'm going to go against the market move. I think they're going to get outclassed. Second unit just comes at you in waves. They're really impressive. So I'm on the Thunder here.
On the Thunder in that middle game tonight. The last game of the triple header, really good one too. Rockets are in Golden State at the Chase against the Warriors. Right now, -3.5 for Golden State and a 225 flat total.
This Houston team is really good. After starting the year 0-2, they've only lost 2 games at the Spurs with Wemby and then the Nuggets. So they've been so strong. Really interesting sort of metrics. They lead the league in offensive rebounding and 3-point sort of efficiency, but they're also like I think dead last in attempts per game. They have that big lineup, whereas the Warriors want to chuck and duck. But remember, the Warriors have some rumors going on with Kuminga and maybe some other pieces for a potential Sabonis trade. 3.5 feels high. Warriors had lost 3 straight, then caught the Jazz on back to back and, went for the jugular and blew them out. It's going to be a different situation. I think Rockets plus the points. Maybe it's a little bit of a trap. I thought this number would be 2, one and a
Mm.
half Golden State. Rockets are legit, and they are coming off a nice win, so maybe it's a flat spot. I don't know. I like the Rockets.
Bet Rivers does have special for this game tonight. Serving
Ooh.
from deep. Steph Curry to make at least 3 pointers in the first half of Warriors versus Rockets from +105 up to +125. So Curry to hit 3 from downtown +125 in the first half, Doug, against the Rockets.
It's aggressive. So he plays most of the first quarter, then sits to start the second. But if he gets Reed Shepherd matched up, I mean, that guy's turnstile. So, but Curry's going to hang out on the perimeter because of the bigs that Houston has. Um, Feels pricey, but it's really not considering it's Curry. The guy's so automatic. So maybe it's a fun, worthwhile play there.
It might be. Have a little fun with the special at Bet Rivers here this evening. All right, let's do a few others on the slate. Miami and Milwaukee tonight. This is in Miami. Heat -9.5. Big total as usual with a Heat game, 239 flat.
This number's getting steamed up, and I was hoping to be the other way once it hit 8.5. It's now 9.5. I like Miami here. Now, Giannis has been upgraded to questionable. Usually, when that happens, they typically play. So that's why I thought this number would come back down. I think the Heat are going to outclass the Bucks. Now, last game Miami didn't cover. Okay, so they had one and covered four straight. Did not cover the last game, but they did win. And that's because they were bringing Tyler Hero back into the rotation. And so a team that's really been balls popping on offense and whatnot, Hero at 16 shot, it's just a different sort of flow when you have an all-star guard in the lineup like you do with Tyler Hero. But I think these teams are so advanced, these players are so gifted and smart that it just took a game or so to kind of work out the kinks. This Bucks team really needs Giannis back. If he doesn't play, I think they get rolled. And even if he does play, I think there's going to be an adjustment period here. Miami just comes at you in waves. Bam's back as well. He's been sort of the Giannis stopper. And if you remember some postseason games and things like that, those bad Miami teams that made a run to the finals in the bubble and whatnot, it's all gone through Giannis. And I mean, look, are they rushing Giannis back as the Bucks are 2-0 in group play of the NBA Cup? It seems like that would be a really dumb thing, but do you really want to bring him back against Bam, who's kind of had his number? So
Mm.
maybe this line move suggests he's going to be out. I like the Heat here with or without Giannis because I don't think it's going to be the best version of Giannis or the best version of the Bucks if he plays. I think the Heat are just really good, and they're just going to get up and down.
And they do have a chance if they win tonight. They would be pretty much on the doorstep of
Yeah.
winning that group as well. They
Mhm.
would be 3-1, and I think they would just need a Knicks loss. But they could even get it even if the Knicks did win their last two games. So Miami would be close to winning that Group C if they were able to win. Memphis and New Orleans tonight. Grizzlies the road favorite minus 3.5, 235.5 the total.
Right. So we talk about this a lot. There's ebbs and flow to a basketball season. With the Pelicans, they were banged up a bunch. They fired their coach. You get a new little kind of optimism in the building. They're getting healthy. So Zion's in the lineup, Herb Jones in the lineup, Trey Murphy's in the lineup. Their bench, they just crushed the Bulls by about 15 or so, wire to wire, double digit win. Grizzlies, I don't think highly of, but Memphis at least wants to run, and the Pelicans can shoot. And there's a bounce in people's step, with the Pelicans fan base, just because they're in such a better place than they were like a month and a half ago. Just so painful there. So I like the over 235.5. Number feels short. Uh, Pelicans were just involved in a 275-point game because it was the Bulls. And sometimes, you get a little extra at the end with the point differential and whatnot for group play of the NBA Cup. So I think over 235.5 is we're gonna have an up and down game. And this Grizzlies team, I know no one knows some of these role players. Coward's been great. He's the rookie who was a lottery pick, but some of these other guys, Spencer's been fantastic. I think they're gonna generate points at ease.
Tee it high and let it fly in New Orleans tonight with the Grizzlies and the Pelicans. All right, couple that caught my eye. I liked on these NBA Cup nights. I try to dive into like situations of who's got a chance to advance, things like that. Portland, who I would have to think, Doug, were the absolute long shot to win this group, considering Denver, Houston, Golden State, and San Antonio are in it with them. If Portland wins tonight, they win Group C because they beat the Nuggets and they beat the Warriors already. They are 1 point favorites at home against the Spurs. 239 is the total. Does Portland, can they do it for me tonight, Doug, and win that Group C?
They're really tough, and they're even tougher at home. That's a tough venue. This Spurs team has been a thorn in my side, though. Uh, Very much a bugaboo because without Wemby, they move the ball fast. Sometimes they shoot over 50% from three, and it's really impossible to beat them because they have that second unit that's also full of energy with Sohan. And there's just a lot to like with the Spurs, even without Castle and Wemby. I think I think the Blazers are the right side. I just get so scared trying to fade the San Antonio squad.
Not easy. Not easy at all. And the other one for me, also late night, is Phoenix. Minus 4.5 at Sacramento against the Kings. 233.5 the total. Phoenix is 2-0. They can get to 3-0 in the Group A in the West. They play Oklahoma City Friday night. Now, I don't expect them to beat Oklahoma City and win the group, but if they're 3-1 and they've got, I believe, the third or fourth best point differential so far in the West, they win tonight and they can win maybe big. they're going to set themselves up where maybe even if they lose to Oklahoma City Friday night, they can advance.
I like the Suns. They've been one of the best stories of the season. Chemistry across the board, thick and through, through everything. Booker's been fantastic. Gillespie off the bench. There's just a lot to like with Phoenix. They're coming off a nice win in their last game. I have to play Phoenix here. I hate the Kings. They owe us money. But my concern now is that the Kings are much better with Keegan Murray. Much, much
Right.
better. So that's and then Westbrook and all that, like it's playing out okay. So it's Suns or pass. Kings aren't an automatic fade as they once were. You got Keegan Murray, who's solid. Okay. Levine can play well. Rosen can play well. Westbrook can play well. So if all those things are happening, they're tough to fade. But no, I don't want to take a leap of faith with them.
There you go. NBA Cup tonight. More NBA Cup on Friday when we come back on Betting Weekly Live. Don't forget also tonight, Bet Rivers NBA Wednesday primetime second chance SGP. Just log into your Bet Rivers app or go to betrivers.com account each Wednesday to receive a second chance same game parlay token to use on either of the primetime NBA games that day if your wager doesn't hit. See the Bet Rivers app or website for full details. NBA Wednesday primetime second chance SGP. All right, college hoops. Doug, I'm not going to lie. There's like a billion games tonight
Sure
in
are.
college
They're all here in
basketball.
Vegas too.
And more, 85% of them are in Vegas. And this Players Festival is this Players Era Festival is so confusing how they decided who was going to play in the championship game. There's a lot of money on the line here, NIL money for each of these schools. The championship, let's do a couple of these quickly. Kansas and Tennessee is going to be one of the games, and that's actually the third place game. I don't know how Tennessee beating Houston ends up in the third place game, but there you go. That's what you have. They're minus 5.5 with a 139.
You got to be careful here. Tennessee really wanted to exact some revenge yesterday. And that's something I overlooked in the handicap just because Houston's always playing so tough and everything. Tennessee or pass. Kansas is obviously down their stud. The Vols are tough, man. They really are. They lock down on D. They have the right pieces on offense. I just thought Bill Self's done a nice job so far with and without his stud guard. But 5.5 feels I would have made it 7. I lay it, but be careful. It's a bad spot, giant flat spot, albeit same tournament, everything. I just think it's really tough to ask them to, how much of an emotional high that was for them. It was a great game that came down to the wire. Houston was right there. So as long as Tennessee doesn't hit the snooze button during the game, we should be fine.
Unfortunately for us, Auburn hit the snooze button last night against Michigan and got completely smashed in that game by the Wolverines. They're back at it tonight against St. John's. St. John's minus 5 now, 166 big total here.
Yeah, so it's been one-way traffic on the Tigers of all things. I thought St. John's was great yesterday. I'm probably like 0 and 4 ATS on these Steve Pearl games. So who knows? I'm very careful now and skeptical to fire against the Tigers, but I think St. John's is battle tested. I mentioned it yesterday. It gave me confidence in backing the Johnnies. So I like them here, but I haven't got an Auburn game right, so I'm reluctant.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I would feel the same way. I would sometimes with those teams, they just stick in your craw, Doug. You want nothing to do with them. Stay away from them for
Right.
a little while and avoid them. The championship of the Players Era Festival and all the big NIL money on the table for Gonzaga and Michigan tonight. -2. I mean, where are we catching Gonzaga with a great number here? Everybody pumped up on Michigan because of how they played the last two nights. Gonzaga again last night, smash job against Maryland. I mean, it's got to be the Zags tonight, Doug.
That's what I would think, but a really sharp guy I know likes the dog here. Okay, this is
Ooh.
like tournament time, right? Conference championship and things. The best coaches prepare for the next day, right? Now, Mark Few is obviously a really good coach, but so is Michigan's head man, Dusty May, right? Like he's going to have these guys ready because it's game plan, it's everything quick turnaround. And Michigan's quality, man. And have we seen the Zags play a tight game? Do they know how to execute in the half court down the stretch? Can they make their free throws with the game on the line? There's something to be said about a team that hasn't been battle tested. I mentioned that with St. John's earlier this week and even Alabama. Those other high profile games I think can really benefit them now in this type of a game. So I'm leaning Zags because I don't want to bet against them. And this is sort of their home away from home. But I do see it. I do understand why people are back in the Wolverines, and they've looked great.
They have looked great. I'm on Gonzaga. Let's go. I'm going
Okay.
Zags tonight. My guy EK and all those other guys there. Maui. Now they've already decided who won Maui. USC won the championship. They beat Arizona State already today. But they got to have you hang around in the Big Island for the fifth place game between Texas and NC State tonight, with the Texas catching 2.5 here in Maui late night.
I just got a second ago mentioned the quick turnaround of coaching and stuff like that. I think this is where Sean Miller really flexes his muscles here. The quick turnaround, the quick sort of game plan implementation. I think Texas plus the 2.5 is the only way I play this.
Yeah, I'm probably with you there. And Alabama and Maryland is late night in Vegas, too. Another consolation game with the players era. 13.5 for Bama, 166.
I mean, you have to lay it, right? They just crushed
Yes.
UNLV. That's a similar sort of situation. Maryland just got run out of the gym too. I think Alabama's going to run them out of the gym. They make teams play their style and their speed. And I don't think they can do it for 40 minutes. That's why I like Bama, and I'm always afraid to fade them. Maryland will run. They have a couple shooters, but they're not on the same level that Bama is, as the Terps demonstrated against the Zags. So I'm on Bama. Roll Tide here.
There you go. And again, there's tons of other games tonight. There's actually a lot of games tomorrow, too. I know it's a big football day. We talked about the triple header. I mean, North Carolina and Michigan State are playing in Fort Myers. BYU and Miami are playing in Florida. Wisconsin and Providence are playing in San Diego. Duke's playing Arkansas in Chicago. That's a pretty good game. And man, you feel bad. You know what the bad part about getting smashed in Vegas the last 2 days is, Doug? If you're Rutgers, you have to hang around until Thanksgiving afternoon and play UNLV at 4:30 East. I mean, that is not fun. Oregon and Creighton have to hang around too because they lost. Just unlucky.
I guess they could always go get literally smashed themselves.
Hey, Vegas
Uh,
flu.
right, the Vegas flu could kick in. We certainly see that with the Las Vegas Bowl. Very different vibes when a team's at the end of the season, 1 foot out the door versus now. But they'll be fine. They're kids. They're resilient.
Yes, they will be fine. So lots of college hoops if you want to get there. All right, we are not done before we get to best bets. And I know we're going to get there. There's 15 games in the NHL tonight, a Thanksgiving Eve tradition unlike any other. Almost the entire league usually plays the night before Thanksgiving, and then they're all off tomorrow, and then usually the whole entire league plays Friday with a lot of afternoon games. So there's lots of afternoon pucks when we come back for Betting Weekly Live on Friday. Let's keep this simple, Doug. I'll tell you the couple that I like out of this 15-game slate tonight. Anaheim and Vancouver. Latest game of the night at the Duck Pond. Vancouver has gone over in 11 of their last 12 games. Anaheim has gone, they're only 6-6 to the over this month, but those 6 games that have gone over were against bad teams like Vancouver, and the games were like 8-5, 7-5, really high scoring games. So I love the over with Anaheim and Vancouver tonight. That would be kind of like my main hockey for this evening out of the 15 games. There are a few other spots that I like too. I like Pittsburgh at home against Buffalo. Pittsburgh has had a little bit of a sluggish go the past few games after coming back from Sweden, but the Sabres have lost 7 out of 8 on the road so far this year. You're getting the Penguins at a pretty nice price, minus 124 at home. Decent favorite. So I do like Pittsburgh in that one. I like the Lightning laying the puck and a half. Puck line for Lightning tonight. They have won.
Ooh.
They have won 8 of 11. They've been scoring tons of goals at home. The Flames stink. So I'm going to lay the puck and a half at plus 130 with Tampa at home, Doug. I like that. I got a woo out of Doug with the Lightning on the puck line tonight.
We don't get the puck line very often out of you.
I don't break that out often. I felt like Tampa was a good spot to do that tonight. And the other over that caught my eye. Now the Islanders have started playing unders because Sorokin started playing better. So they've now been on a little bit of an under trend after some over ones. But they've played the Bruins twice this year. Both games got through. We were on one of them for a daily double one day. So I think the Islanders and the Bruins again tonight at UBS. Because I think now they've lowered that Islander line. I mean, we were getting some 6.5s on the Islanders, Doug. I saw this 5.5 this morning. Now it's a flat 6. I think we can get this over with the Islanders and the Bruins again.
I don't know if I can get involved. I know my Islanders were just involved in a
I went
0-0
zero
game. It's
zero
hard for
game.
me to get involved in an over
I
after I
know.
just had to swear. They couldn't even make a penalty shot.
I know.
So,
They couldn't do that. There is the rest of the slate. The Rangers never win in Carolina. If you want to go there, they have all kinds of problems. They've lost like 6 in a row to them. The Leafs never beat Columbus, but they are getting Austin Matthews back tonight, and they are a slight road favorite against the Jackets. Detroit plays well at home, and Nashville stinks. Man, it could be another fun puck line. And my Blackhawks plus 110 money line at home against Minnesota. They've been
you
bad.
haven't quit the Blackhawks
Haven't quit
yet?
the Blackhawks yet. Haven't quit them yet. But honestly, Doug, if I had to just out of 15 games, there's only one thing for me. You might as well just peel this right into the best bets. We'll just go.
Okay.
We'll run it straight on a line here to finish out Betting Weekly Live, and that is the Ducks and the Canucks. Late night at the Duck Pond, over 6.5. I will put that in as my for the best bet this evening for the Daily Double.
A little juicy, isn't that one? It's juicy.
It actually is minus 134 to the over 6.5.
It's
So
okay.
we got to get on the board this week, Doug. I don't mind. We want to get on the
Yeah.
board.
Yeah, I think we've had once in the last 2.5 weeks where we each did not win. I don't think
Yeah,
we've both lost. You had a
we
push.
haven't. Yeah.
So, that is something,
Dougie
Dougie Pucks, I
Pucks.
like that. Yeah, chiming in.
Dougie Pucks.
Nothing I absolutely love, we gotta check that, South Carolina game. It's underway. But I like the Heat to take care of business, -9.
Okay.
Again, I think it's just outclassing their opponent. Giannis in or out, bring it. Um, you know, we'll see. But, um, I just think I just think Miami will get you in waves, and they did not cover their last game, and I think that was just adjusting to Tyler Herro's starting lineup. Season debut. I mean, he had September ankle surgery. I think the Heat roll him.
Heat roll 'em. So for the Daily Double tonight, Betting Weekly Live on a Thanksgiving Eve, Heat -9 for Doug in that NBA Cup game at home. I will go with the over 6.5 in the Canucks and the Ducks at the Duck Pond. That gets us a nice plus 229
Right.
for this evening for the Daily Double. Heading into the holiday in the right way. We need a little extra padding, Doug. We need that 229 for tomorrow with that NFL triple header. So let's get it cooking here with the Daily Double tonight. Doug?
To the
Yes.
first quarter, 15-14 games. So we have adjusted win total, 128.5. So we're already 4 points ahead of
Hey.
pace.
All right. Hopefully everyone's in there with that South Carolina under out in Vegas as they are underway. Doug, we will be back, as I mentioned, on Friday, 4 o'clock East, 1 o'clock Pacific. We're going to have so much live action. I don't know how we're going to get to the stuff for Friday night and the weekend, but we will get it all in because that's what we do. We're going to be ready for all the action on Friday. Betting Weekly Live. Everybody have a safe, happy, and healthy Thanksgiving tomorrow. Enjoy all the football. Enjoy the family. Unless they're bothering you while you're trying to hit a touchdown bet, then tell them to leave you alone after that. But we will be back Friday at 4 p.m. East. Doug, great job as always. Great job by the crew. Everybody have a great night, Thanksgiving Eve with all the games. Good luck at the window. We will see you back here on Friday on Betting Weekly Live.